Welcome back, everyone. Okay, before we dive into anything else today, I want you to just take a second and think about the exact device you're using to watch this explainer right now. You've got a liquid crystal display, a lithium-ion battery, Wi-Fi signals literally beaming data through the air to you, and you know what? None of that, absolutely none of it, exists without a profound understanding of physics. Today, we're embarking on this really fascinating journey into exactly that. We're looking at the foundational relationship between the physical sciences and the world we actually live in. Because let's be honest, we often kind of think of physics as just, abstract equations scribbled on a chalkboard or maybe isolated experiments happening in some vacuum somewhere. But it's so much more than that. It is literally the invisible scaffolding of our entire civilization. So get ready, because we're going to explore exactly how physics shapes human society, going from the macro level, zooming all the way down to the micro level, and then back out again.
So as you'll see here, our roadmap for this unit follows a really brilliant narrative arc. Just look at this progression. It doesn't just throw a bunch of isolated formulas at you and say, hey, memorize these. Instead, it takes us on this highly deliberate zoom-in, zoom-out journey over the course of just 10 pages. We start out incredibly broad, looking at human society as a whole, then we zoom in to the actual people doing the groundbreaking work, zoom in even further to the mechanics of how scientific knowledge is literally constructed, and then we zoom all the way back out to what this all means for your future careers and the world today. It's just a perfectly structured pathway to deep understanding.
Just to keep us completely on track, here are the 5 specific sections we're walking through today. Section 1 covers physics in our society. Section 2 looks at the physics community. Section 3 explores making physics knowledge. Section 4 bridges into missions and careers. And finally, Section 5 brings us to the current status of physics. All right, let's kick things off right at page 1 with Section 1.1, the importance of physics to society. Before anyone can truly understand the how of physics, they absolutely have to grasp the why. And that is exactly what this very first section establishes for us. Physics isn't happening in a bubble. It's fundamentally intertwined with human societal progress. History proves this time and time again. Think about the study of thermodynamics back in the 18th and 19th centuries. That wasn't just some boring academic exercise. The understanding of heat and energy literally fueled the steam engines that ignited the Industrial Revolution. It completely restructured human civilization. Jump forward a bit, and those mind-bending discoveries of quantum mechanics? Well, they paved the direct path for the semiconductors sitting at the heart of our modern computers. Every single major leap forward in human history is deeply rooted in our growing understanding of physical laws. By putting this squarely on page 1, the source is sending us a super clear message. Physics' primary importance is measured by its immense, tangible impact on all of us. It's the engine of societal evolution, for sure. Moving on to page 3, we hit section 1.2, physics communities and their roles. Now we're really zooming in. This shift in focus is brilliant. On one side, we have this broad, general human society that reaps the benefits of those massive technological leaps we just talked about. But on the flip side, we have the specialized, highly focused groups of people, the physics communities, who actually drive the whole field forward. Look, society doesn't just magically figure out astrophysics on its own, right? It relies entirely on these dedicated, organized communities of researchers, educators, and engineers. And the crucial takeaway here is that physics is a deeply human, incredibly collaborative endeavor. A community's strength, it comes directly from its diversity. Historically and increasingly today, women in physics have been absolutely vital to these communities, bringing in fresh, critical perspectives that have literally shifted paradigms. Think of heavyweights like Marie Curie pioneering radiation research, or Vera Rubin fundamentally changing how we understand the universe by providing the observational evidence for dark matter. The source makes it clear these communities have distinct roles, and true innovation requires a diverse mix of minds teaming up to solve the universe's biggest puzzles. Which brings us to page 5. Section 1.3, Making of Physics Knowledge. So how do those diverse communities actually pull it off? Well, there's a crucial logical progression here. Step 1, you have an active, diverse, organized physics community. Step 2, through their intense collaboration, they systematically construct or make physics knowledge. I actually really love that phrasing from the source, the making of physics knowledge. It implies this very deliberate hands-on process. Scientific knowledge isn't just lying around waiting to be tripped over, it is painstakingly forged. This is where the scientific method steps in as the ultimate quality control mechanism. It's not enough to just wake up with a great idea. That idea has to be relentlessly stress-tested through rigorous experimentation and, honestly, brutal peer review. Other scientists are going to try to poke holes in a new theory, they'll try to replicate the experiments, and only the ideas that survive that intense, fiery scrutiny become accepted knowledge. It's an active, ongoing construction project to make sure what we know about the universe is actually rock solid. Now we start to zoom back out. Over on page 7, we reach section 1.4, the mission of physics and career awareness. What's super interesting to me here is the dual focus of this section. First, it lays out the mission of physics, the grand overarching goals of the field as a whole. But it doesn't just leave those goals floating in the abstract. Right alongside that lofty mission is career awareness, grounding all that theory right into practical reality. It shows us that all this rigorous knowledge-making translates directly into tangible, incredibly diverse career pathways. We aren't just talking about people in white lab coats staring at chalkboards all day. We're talking about medical physicists developing targeted radiation therapies to fight cancer. We're talking about materials scientists engineering completely new, hyper-efficient solar panels for a sustainable energy grid. And a massive part of modern career awareness is actively working to bridge the gender gap in STEM, ensuring that young women and underrepresented groups see these pathways crystal clear and are empowered to step into these vital roles. It beautifully connects the grand mission of understanding the universe to the practical reality of getting a job, breaking down barriers, and making a profound personal impact. Finally, we arrive at our last stop on page 10, section 1.5, current status of physics. Let's see how this all builds up to our grand finale. We've explored the history, the societal impact, the diverse communities, the rigorous knowledge building, and the career missions. Now, section 1.5 grabs all that foundational context and brings it right up to the present day. What does the landscape of physics look like right this very second? What are the actual cutting-edge questions being asked today? This is where the source points us straight toward the absolute frontiers of human understanding. As we speak, physicists are in a global race to develop functional quantum computers, which, by the way, could revolutionize data processing and medicine basically overnight. They're building these massive, mind-boggling underground detectors in a relentless hunt for dark matter to figure out the invisible forces holding our galaxies together. And they are making unprecedented strides toward viable fusion energy. Think about that. A breakthrough there could effectively solve the world's energy crisis forever. This section beautifully frames the current status as the ultimate culmination of everything that came before it. It's the very tip of the spear of human knowledge, pushing aggressively into the unknown. Which leaves us right here. We started on page 1 looking at how physics shapes human society, and we've ended by looking at the current thrilling frontiers of the field. This entire explainer has been a journey showing that physics is an active, deeply human pursuit meant to better our world. So my question to you is this. With a clear understanding of how these communities make knowledge, whether it's engineering a sustainable global grid or pushing the very boundaries of the cosmos alongside the next generation of female scientists, what future societal challenge will you help solve? Think about that as you continue your studies. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.